Thank you, and tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. No mai, haere mai, nā reira, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. Good morning, or in my instance, good evening, and thank you for the opportunity for presenting today. I would love to be in person with you all, and it's terribly challenging for us in New Zealand currently. We're experiencing our second lockdown. We're at level 4 and not able to deliver events. So as I'm sure you all would have looked over to New Zealand and Australia and seeing the events being held with an element of envy, I too now look internationally and see what is happening and hope that that'll occur soon here. I'm just going to share my screen. Thank you. Today's topic is transformational change to deliver greater utilisation. I think everyone would acknowledge that over the last 12 months we've been challenged in relation to what the traditional stadium model will look like, and this is something that's been part of our journey over the last 5 years as we strive to see greater utilisation. Our vision 3 years ago, we set down, we delivered a new strategic plan, and it was very clear we wanted to be recognised as New Zealand's national stadium providing world-class live events. That included concerts that at the time was not consented, and I'm delighted to say that on the 24th of April this year, we delivered our first ever concert, 660 to 50,000 people, and that was the biggest post-COVID concert in the world. Our mission was very clear. It's in an act of parliament in New Zealand, and we wanted to ensure that we were a multi-purpose stadium for all of Auckland and New Zealand, not just cricket and rugby. And that has been central to our utilisation strategy and making us known as one of those facilities of choice for hirers of all types. To enable that to occur, we developed something that we call our game plan. We're a proud New Zealand icon with a history of achievement both on and off the field. We acknowledge that doing the right thing and playing our part to do our collective best means abiding by our game plan. And our game plan was something that we developed in collaboration, not only with our staff, both casual, full-time, but also our community. And we identified 7 values and behaviours that we saw were going to be central to how we deliver our events, but also to innovate. That includes the 3,000 staff on event days. And we say that a pass is if those casual staff, 700 at our recent Bledisloe Cup were new staff. Our benchmark is we expect them to know 4 of 7, but we hope that they know all 7. And you'll note that the game plan is also bilingual, adopting Te Reo to embed that within our DNA. Those 7 values and behaviours are very clear: customer service, attention to detail, strong governance and accountability, building a level of comfort, celebrating the achievements, exceeding expectation, and commercialising opportunities through innovation. And I'm going to talk to some of those opportunities and case studies that we've developed over the last 12 months, in part due to a result of what has transpired with COVID. Our 3-year strategic plan identified 9 strategic priorities. This was something that we didn't want our strategic plan to be something that sat on the shelf. It was something that would continue to evolve and adapt based on feedback from our community. And that included, as I mentioned earlier, our council engagement and resource consent framework. I know that many venues, including Liverpool, have had challenges in hosting concerts. And we started on a journey around 3 years ago. And the premise was we wanted to afford musicians the same rights to sports people. In New Zealand, it was something we're very proud of. 127 years ago, women got the vote. And yet in 2020, we didn't have the ability for musicians to perform on a stage. So that process took approximately 3 years. It cost us over $2 million. And as a result, we were able to modify our resource consent framework and deliver concerts and up to 6 a year. And I'm very confident coming out the other side of COVID, we linked in a strategy of emerging stronger. And throughout this lockdown, we're revising that emerging stronger strategy to emerge stronger again. And our bookings for 2020 are looking very promising. Our engagement with the community, in 70 AD, the Colosseum was built in a residential area. Stadiums have a long association with the community, and it was critical for us to have success that we engage with our community. One of those initiatives was developing the Hood, a neighbourhood supporters club, and within 48 hours, we had 1,400 residents and households within the neighbourhood signing up to be a member of our supporters club. We're a great neighbour and a great resident. We know that we're, as we talk about, an anchor institution for the community. We bring people to the area, we deliver benefits, not only in employment, but also in terms of economic outcomes for the hospitality businesses in the area, and many people in the area purchase as a result of being near Eden Park. We've been in business for 120 years, and I'm confident we'll be in business for a further 100 years. But as any business, we need to look to redevelop. And the next stage of our redevelopment is looking at putting a retractable roof and redeveloping the field to ensure that we can accommodate our core codes, but also our new hirers. In terms of our fourth strategic priority, we wanted to align our culture with the capability in our organisation. And this has been something that I'll talk to in some of our case studies, is getting the right expertise and aligning with our 3-year strategic plan. Content is king, retaining, developing, but also fostering new opportunities to maximise stadium revenues and utilise the park in different ways to enhance the fan experience. Our sixth priority was consolidating our financial foundations. This was something that was instrumental in us being able to emerge stronger out of COVID. Our partners, through relationships, stood by us through our downturn, and we were fortunate enough to retain all our partners and didn't have any need to provide any sort of compensation during the lockdown periods. In terms of our business and environmentally sustainable practices, in New Zealand, Auckland has declared a climate emergency, and this has been important for us to take a leadership role, whether it be with sustainability and compostable packaging in our retail outlets, through to eliminating any single-use promotional material with our hirers. Our eighth priority was honouring and implementing a Māori strategy, embedding that within our DNA of the stadium, and ensuring that people understood the importance of the Māori community in Eden Park's history. And finally, facilitating and fostering equality and inclusion through our actions and events. And we're delighted over the next 3 years to have 3 Women's World Cups, including the FIFA Women's World Cup in 2023. Eden Park is a blank canvas for utilisation. We were very strategic 3 years ago in looking at the asset, understanding the importance of the brand internationally, and then leveraging that opportunity. So whether it be direct brand engagement, corporate hospitality, experiences, venue hire, our park with the community, and then also our partnerships, it was important for us to utilise the asset 365 days a year. That saw us introduce the experience economy. We talk about now social media and the importance of social media in terms of being able to deliver the street to the seat experience. For us, we saw this as critical when we introduced a number of new products for both event and non-event day. That included a recent Art in the Park exhibition where 100 local artists were able to exhibit at the park over 3 days, and $1.5 million of art was sold in a 3-day period of time. We introduced stadium glamping at the park, and we're over 90% occupancy, whereby people can stay at the park, whether it be on event days or non-event days, and experience a truly unique accommodation experience at the park. We led a change, a paradigm shift in understanding from the board in terms of what the match day experience is, and that included putting a rooftop tour and a zip line as a stage 2 in at the park. We know that the next generation of fans are looking for more than just the content on the field, and these experiences were something that we wanted to see both on event day and on a non-event day. Pre-COVID, we were doing up to 1,000 people a week on our tour program, and we see this as a real opportunity post-COVID when our international borders reopen. And just another utilisation was our Powerade G9, where we converted Eden Park for a week into a golf course, and we put through around 3,500 people through our G9 experience on the field, golf being one of the #1 activities for Kiwis in New Zealand. With regard to our integration of community and globalisation, we had a local focus with a number of local events, whether it be Kapahaka festivals, the equivalent of the Edinburgh Tattoo, a number of charitable engagements with a CEO sleep out raising money for homeless individuals. In terms of the Nelson Mandela exhibition, home shows, and I'll come to what the Morningside Urban Market Garden is. This was to demonstrate that the park was a strategic asset for the country, but it's also a community asset for Auckland. Our core content being the Black Caps, but also the All Blacks, Phoenix, International Rugby League, now a concert calendar, and as I mentioned, 3 Women's World Cups over the next 2 years. Our partners have been with us on the journey. We're the home of New Zealand Rugby, Auckland Rugby, the Blues, New Zealand Cricket, Auckland Rugby, and also the Phoenix. And we have a number of partners, both global and local, who have been with us and been willing to adapt and change as we navigated through the challenging times. This included a partnership with AA Insurance, a local insurer, who saw the opportunity to not only leverage their partnership with the park, but also give back to the community. And this initiative in its first year saw 800 schools participate. And then in this year, we've seen over 3,500 schools participate. So as part of our partnership with AA Insurance, we said we want to give back to the community. And the Big Little sponsorship was an opportunity for us to give $10,000 worth of sports equipment to a school, but also have the team, our turf team from Eden Park, go out to that winning local school and maintain their field to the quality of Eden Park, with a number of ex-All Blacks coming to present those options. Another partnership that we were able to foster during the recovery from COVID was with ALSD, our banking partner. It made headlines around the world that Eden Park was selling our naming rights. We had people coming in to reception to take photos of the sign, as they were quite emotional, thinking that Eden Park was going to be lost. The initiative involved ASB, our banking partner, to buy the naming rights for a week. And then they donated that naming right to a local fish and chip shop. Cooper's Catch Park was named, and that fish and chip shop had the opportunity to be naming rights for Eden Park, the once in history opportunity for the week. So not only did it generate great goodwill in terms of a significant partner of the park giving back to the community, but as you can imagine with COVID, the impact on the hospitality sector had been enormous, but also the tourism sector. So for that husband and wife fish and chip shop to be able to be the naming rights of Eden Park was something truly innovative, but also memorable. The third case study I wanted to touch on was in relation to our partnership with Still. A lot of people during lockdown had found idle time, idle capacity, and so utilising our turf manager, we created a number of advertisements with Still. So that integrated into signage assets at the park, but social media assets also. And all of these examples can be either provided in terms of giving opportunities for you to see what is possible, but also the creativity of generating new revenue streams out of existing capability and resources. So Blair Christensen, our turf manager, became the face of Still in New Zealand, and he was maintaining, whether it be his backyard or the Garden of Eden, with Still products. Then you'll see on an event day, that signage was integrated into both cricket and rugby fixtures at the park. This example is one that I'm very proud of. I talked about earlier as our sustainability initiatives. And for us, New Zealand and Auckland was in drought. 12 months ago. And working with Watercare, we've been able to activate a bore at the park. That means that the entire field, both number 1 and 2, delivers a water saving of 16 million litres. But also, we see that opportunity to showcase what is possible in terms of water saving initiatives over the many households in the area, and future-proofing our operations, irrespective of any climate implications. So I'll just play a small video.
Okay, so ryegrass is a temperate grass, and so it's almost like a cool season grass. So in the summer, just like us, we get hot and tired and dehydrated and soak in this grass. So therefore water is really, really important to keep it high quality, and it's just part of its diet in the summer. So this is our brand new reinstated bore, 25 metres deep, and we can pump out 165,000 litres a day for our irrigation purposes. So this here is an example of some of the water that would come naturally out of our bore, and so you can sort of see it's not crystal clear at all. This is some of the iron and manganese that we're actually filtering out. We've got a boutique water treatment plant, and we've got 4 large sand filters, and we have a chlorine injection system where we actually inject some chemicals into the water, dissipates all the iron and manganese out of it, gives us some really high quality water to put on the sports fields. The water has come from our treatment plants, being stored in our 6 30,000 litre holding tanks, and water heads from here either out onto the number 1 field or onto the outer oval. And now I'll turn on the sprinklers.
The uniqueness about it is it's just bespoke for Eden Park, and it removes the grit and provides the quality of water they need for the irrigation of the sports field. From an environmental outcome, it's fantastic. I mean, we're using a groundwater source. It's a natural water source. It's a sustainable option. So, fantastic result.
I think the numbers speak for themselves. To think that 16 million litres of water a year will be saved as a result of this initiative. And on behalf of the Eden Park Trust, I'd like to thank Watercare for making this initiative possible and raising the awareness of the challenges we face.
I hope that everyone was able to see that video. I think there might have been some doubling up there, so apologies for any technical issues that you may have had. Another case study that I wanted to comment on was an initiative we work with, the Cookie Project. And the Cookie Project is a social enterprise. We were approached by an organisation that highlighted to us the need for employment opportunities with people with a disability. 1 in 4 Kiwis have a disability in New Zealand, and we saw this as an opportunity to provide idle capacity within one of our kitchens to these young men and women with a disability. And we're very pleased to report that what we've been able to deliver is over 250,000 hours of employment opportunities for young men and women. And with that, has seen the Cookie Project continue to employ 16 individuals with meaningful employment, utilising idle capacity within one of our kitchens. Another example is our Morningside Urban Market and Garden. We have 12 young individuals. They're refugees to New Zealand, who've had the opportunity to grow fruit and vegetables within an area at the park. And then that gets harvested and then sold to local businesses within the community. This is an area that was, again, idle, and we saw it as an opportunity, as a collaboration with the community to deliver employment outcomes and also sustainable practices with local businesses, where the circular economy sees that food scraps, whether it be from Eden Park or indeed from local cafes and restaurants, get brought, composted at the park, and then utilised as part of this sustainability initiative. So coming to the conclusion, I wanted to just list 5 key takeaways that over the last 3 years has seen significant upside in terms of our utilisation, but also income. The first one is to reference leveraging the power of our brand through the experience economy. There's no question that the fan of the future, the fan of today, is looking for Instagrammable moments, but items in which they can share, whether it be with their whānau, their family, their community, or socially. And so leveraging our brand has been central to the alignment with a number of the partners that we've targeted, and then the experiences that we've been able to deliver. Embracing the community as an anchor institution has been, again, one of those key elements for our success over the last 3 years. A lot of people talk about stadiums in residential areas as being a challenge. We changed that belief at the park. We have now over 93% support from our community, and our community is involved in our decision making. We understood that without our community, we couldn't see greater utilisation, and it was critical that we aligned with their values and their beliefs, but also their aspirations for what Eden Park is today and what it will be in the future. In relation to the third key takeaway, I talk about adjust to the changing times, but hold to the unchanging principles. Our game plan was something we formulated as a team. We wanted everyone to buy into that game plan and understand the values and behaviours that would drive our key strategic priorities. COVID has seen that we must be able to change with the times, but ensuring that our values remained. The fourth key takeaway was around innovation, flexibility and creativity is central to the success of any stadium. We are a blank canvas for utilisation. We have been able to deliver a whole range of initiatives. I spoke about some, I haven't spoken about others, but I'd encourage you all to look and visit our website or reach out and see some of the things that we're doing, but also share your ideas with us, as we are very keen to learn from the people in the room, as well as us embedding or imparting our knowledge of what we've been able to deliver. And the last point that I wanted to raise is that be strategic whilst remaining authentic. Strong relationships enable greater understanding. I've been very fortunate with our partners, as mentioned with the case studies, that traditionally our partners will align with us, whether it be to have signage at the facility, hospitality, or access to various benefits. The benefits that we spoke about and I've spoken about today were as a result to our emerging stronger following the COVID pandemic. We knew that our traditional revenues, within a 24-hour period, we went from everything to nothing. With the alert levels in New Zealand of 1 to 4, our business as usual activity really could only operate at level 1. And it took 3 months for us to get back from level 4 to 1. And during that time, we developed the strategic plan around emerging stronger and delivered the outcomes that I've spoken about today. And I'm very proud to say that we've exceeded budget in a year that was so difficult for many organisations. So the last one is that I like to, if I was in the room, I'd like to be able to give an item to a person with a question. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to say something, and then the first person that responds to that will be the winner of an Eden Park block toy set. So my challenge is it's for the first person to get on LinkedIn and give 2 examples of case studies that I've shown with a message to me will win the block Lego set. So I thank you very much for your time. I look forward to listening online to the conference, and I think I've probably done quite well considering I'm in my 3-year-old's bedroom and she's sleeping in my bed next door.
You know, we wish you were here with us in person. I'm not quite sure how we're going to find out who has done this LinkedIn, but we'll get back to you on that.